For anyone that's going to be playing Dragon Ball Legends PvP, it's probably your first time playing, or you don't know if you're going to play, or if you don't remember how it was, or you probably was the people who used to play a while back and probably starting to get back because you saw an ad on YouTube. It's going to happen. People like that's going to run around. It's fine. You see, look, I've been playing the game for a very long period of time. So I'm just going to run down what you have to worry about now. Zenkais will be the number one problem. I would tell you, funny enough, Zenkai is the number one problem. The reason for Zenkais is very simple. Zenkais are, if you don't know what Zenkais are, let me explain. Zenkais are old characters that got boosted up recently to be good now. The way to activate the Zenkai is very simple. When the banner drops to do it, you would use your 1,000 Chrono Crystals to do it. You can do the 20 every day. Some of them does the 20, some of them do not. Now, let me explain. Not every Zenkai you have to run from. Not everyone. Certain ones, they pose a major threat to you. You may want to play the smartest you can and counter at any waking moment you possibly can. Some of them, if you mess even one up, one moment, it's probably game over. So for Zenkai, like I say, be very careful. You wouldn't know which one's the most dangerous ones. I would suggest you go out and you play casual first for a little bit. I say, if I be honest with you, I would say play casual like every day. At least you could play like 3 matches every day. I think that's a normal thing to do. Play like 3 casual matches every day until you think you have a good grasp. I think that would be one of the best things for you, because you'll find a play style. You find someone do something that you may see as a, oh, this will be very good for me if I try this. It's gonna happen. Weird teams. You're gonna run into this eventually. You're gonna see a weird team that they probably never mesh together in any shape or form. That they're probably like the most randomest team you've ever seen. They're like going back watching Dragon Ball, and because you typed in Dragon Ball, you clicked on something you probably watched Super, and now all of a sudden you just see GT, and you're like, I've never seen GT's a thing. What is this? Like type stuff. It's like you're just confused. That's funny. I would say don't take them lightly, because you run into some people who probably accidentally brought the wrong team for this one, and they still said, F it, I'm not giving up, I'm gonna go for it. Or if you're the guy who did it, be very careful on your team selection and the elements that you bring. I don't really suggest you bring the same element twice. I don't suggest it because, like I said, a lot of, I'm sorry, I didn't say, team is actually really important. The reason teamwork is actually really important, or in particular for this, I wouldn't really call it teamwork. I'm sorry. I wouldn't call it teamwork necessarily. I would say your team composition, to make it better, I would suggest going like this. Bring characters to fit a specific role. You need a character who would probably start off the match. A character that's not too broken on the side of damage, not too broken on the side of tank. It's a pretty decent character. For example, I'm gonna give you a nice one. How I would start off if I was using a random team. I would say the team I would probably be using. Well, it's not really random if I'm picking it, but let me just follow me here. Let's say if I brought Jiren, Dispo, and Toppo, I would start off with either Dispo or Toppo. Reason being is because Dispo isn't really much on damage nor really tank, but he does really good on more of like chipping down the health. He's like the third man that is crucial when it comes to, well, let's be honest, stalling. Basically, he's like my stalling man. If I was waiting for Jiren to get ready to load back up, I would have him in play. Same for Toppo. Toppo, another reason I would start off with Toppo is because he is a good tank. very good tank character. So just in case you weren't ready to dodge at the right moment and they already probably hit their blue card out of nowhere and you just weren't ready for it, he's gonna tank it. Well, it depends if you have the element advantage or if you don't have the element, or it's just like neutral, just attack. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's dope. Jiren has a great cover change that he can't be cover changed. So that's another reason. I would suggest also, once again, going back to team composition, when you're selecting the characters you're gonna bring into the fight, when you're kind of looking through your team, I would suggest grabbing every color. To create every role, you need a tank, you need a distractionary person, you need a powerhouse. If you want someone with just a unique ability that looks very good, that probably isn't really good out there, that's fine if you can use them. You will 9 out of 10 double one color because it's 6 slots and I think it's like 5 elements, I think, if I'm correct. We don't have another character. We don't have another, unless you bring Shallot, but we don't have Giblet, so I guess. Red. Hold on, give me a second. It's red, yellow, blue, green, purple. Yeah, 5 elements. So you're gonna double up one of them eventually. Whoever you double up with, be very careful because then you may never use that character. You may only be using them for the stats that they give for the team. Oh, by the way, that's a thing. The team that you bring into PvP, know what they can do. Because if you don't know what they can do, you will run into the problem of just throwing caution to the wind, just saying F it, throw them out there just because type stuff. It's not really the smartest thing to do, because if, let's say we'll go back with the 3 options that the example I use of Dispo, Toppo, and Jiren. Let's say while Toppo's taking damage, let's say you don't want him to take that much damage, you switch to Dispo instead of Jiren that can cover change strikes. So you brought him in, and now he's taking the damage that he shouldn't take, and now he's getting mollywopped, and now you're just like, oh man. Things like that you have to be ready for. Also, another thing. This is a big one. Big one. Know who you're bringing. Know their individual abilities that make them special. Because if you don't know, that means you may bring them in too early, one, for a fight. Because some of them, they have to have a certain amount of time before they're even half as useful. Or they're probably not good anymore. Because some of them have a time limit on some of their abilities. Some of them bad. And if you want to know who's in the meta, it's a simple premise. You go to the top. When you go to PvP, you will look at the top and you will see who pops up, basically, who's in the meta. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you have to use people in the meta. You don't have to use a meta team to be top rank. You can use some characters who's not in the meta if you're skillful enough. Also, if you do run into it, because you will, you're gonna run into that questionable team that throws you off so bad, but then you get whooped by them. Look, I can't really tell you anything to avoid it, but I can tell you this. It's gonna happen. Just be ready for it, alright? Also, if you have a character that transforms, try to remember how much time it takes for them to transform, so you don't bring them in too early, like 90 more seconds before they're supposed to transform, even 15 more seconds before they're supposed to transform. Doesn't matter. Make sure you're careful with it, and make sure you know what they can fully do also. Um, Careful of not to swipe just because you see the exclamation point. Careful about that because sometimes you will swipe on like for something you don't need to swipe. Like some people will tap the screen, and because you see an exclamation point, you're thinking, "Oh, they're doing a blast," so you swipe the screen, and now you fell into a trap of theirs. Um, Also, that's another thing. If you see a character who's being a little too cautious, I mean, a little too still, they probably have a rising rush. The best thing to do is to keep your distance from them and make them either waste the rising rush, which the best way to do it is to keep at least two characters alive. One of the big things is to keep at least two characters alive. Make sure that whoever takes the rising rush is not. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say they're down to one character, you have two characters at least. If let's say the character that has the element advantage, your character right now is taking hits to be able to, for them to hit the rising rush. If they hit the rising rush, you swap into the character who can't take basically the hits. The reason being you do it is because just in case you fail, you don't lose the character that you need. But if you run into the issue where they're just stopping, they're staring, and they're basically like you run into the SpongeBob meme of he's just standing there menacingly, don't just attack, because if you do, the rising rush will catch you and you will be just now unless you're halfway there. So they'll wait until you get extra close and you think that you like, yes, I win. You probably through your phone and then you hear the rising rush being activated. So I would suggest every now and then getting ready to strike and then swipe. No matter even if you legit about to hit them, still do that every now and then just in case. Because you may run into an issue that you don't want. Cover change. A lot of characters will be pinpoint accuracy on you. Like some people will kind of let you get probably a 2-hit combo on them before they, I'm sorry, not a 2-hit combo, but like you didn't use 2 cards already. You slowly making a combo and they stop it by a cover changing character. What a lot of people are starting to do is they may use one like strike card and they may swipe up, give it a second or two. When they get ready to either strike or anything, you continue it. Or especially if you know they're about to do the cover change, because sometimes you can know when they're about to do it, you can just feel and be like, oh, he's finna cover change. You stop, they would automatically cover change and they can't do anything for that split second or two. So then you continue the combo with like right then and there. Also shake it up just in case. Like let's say the person's cover change is like a one thing. Like let's say Gogeta Super Saiyan 4. I mean, dang, I can't wait for him to drop, but no, Gogeta Super Saiyan Blue. His cover change is strike oriented. So I would suggest if you know he's in play on their team, if you started off with a strike, if you have a blast, I would say it's getting close to them, swiping up close, and before it fully rests, press the blast one. You do the blast, and they may swiped in already. He getting ready, do the animation like he's finna cover change, but he can't because he got blast instead. Activating your main ability. This is a tricky one right here. The reason it's a tricky one is because of this. You may be the type of person that pressed your main ability right at the correct moment where you can have the perfect counter for somebody. Somebody's tackling, they're halfway across the room though. So that means when they do it, you activated your main ability, they can't swipe away from you. You press it. Well, depends upon if you have a main ability, because not every character has, every character has a main ability, but not every character has a special arts card like that, like an ultra card or nothing like that. Careful of a dangerous combo. There are certain characters that bring like a dangerous combo to them, like Goku Black. Like the new LF Goku Black has a dangerous One, like if he strikes you a lot, it makes you bleed. And if he hits you with a green and a blue card combined, you will be slowly losing health. Not only as that character, because even if you swap out, he's still losing health progressively. And if a blue card hits, it drains everybody's health. I think Frieza does it too. Is it Frieza? It's a Frieza who does it. It's a Frieza that does also the same thing, but I think it's like her blue card that does it. I said her. Wow. What else can I tell you to worry about? I told you about meta. Also equipment, because this is crucial. Read what the equipment gives you, because the equipment could say S rank, but it could have like trash what's the names. You could erase what it originally says and try to upgrade it a different way. It may go up like maybe 1, maybe 2. Some of them may go up in a great way. You may go from S to Golden Z. Congratulations to you on doing that, if you manage to. I've never done it, but congratulations if you were able to. Also, this is a nice one right here. This is a nice one. Be very careful to not be over aggressive, because some people can manage an over aggressive player and demolish an over aggressive player pretty easily. What I suggest you do is play calm and smart, and not just go balls to the wall and just tap all your cards. I would suggest, even if you have a full combo going, if it's not doing the huge amount of damage in the beginning of the fight, save at least 1 card in the fight. Reason being is because this may be, let me give you another example. I'm gonna use a fusion team for example this time. Let's say you brought the Vegito Super Saiyan Blue, and you did a full combo. The character is still standing there. You done took off like half his health. You're out of cards though. You have advantage gauge to be able to swipe away, but you're not gonna get a card back for another probably 2-3 more seconds. That could make them get another combo or whatever. You may be entitled to think, use my ultimate now. I wouldn't suggest it, because now you've wasted it, and sometimes you may have needed it right at that moment, and you can't swap to another character that can do it. Or even if you can, you probably won't have enough time to do it. So what I suggest is being very careful of that. Blast defense. There's a lot of characters now that I have either ultimate or just, well, Jiren. I think Jiren's the only one that has it for all his strikes, I think. No, because Kefla has it too. They have blast defense. So when they're striking at you and you can still blast, they'll be able to take it and still hit you. Very careful of those. Sometimes it'll be too late. By the time you didn't press it, they didn't already did their striking. You can probably swipe it like the last second or two. Gotta be careful of those. People that have a green card that can also, save them. Like a hit character. Like hit, it would be the perfect one, because I think he can counter pretty much anything type stuff. I say pretty much. I don't know. We can test out what he can and can't later on. But I do know it's like if you're striking and he just standing there, he's 9 out of 10 about to use his green card. If you're about to blast and he just stands there, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they got a green card waiting on you. If you clash with somebody and you knock them back and you want to immediately go into a combo, don't do it. Now, because sometimes it will work, but I wouldn't suggest doing. I would say give it a second, then going into a combo where they can't swap, or just waiting it out until you can knock them back down and then make a combo. Well, knock them back, not really knock them down. Revival characters, because this is also another big one. Let's say you have a Rising Rush ready. They're down to only 2 characters. but either the Revival Goku is in play or the Revival Cell is on their team. You may hit the Rising Rush and you may say, I'm going to take out his top character. And then they use the Revival character and you killed his first life. And he comes back with his second, what makes him even more of a danger. I would suggest the best course of action is very simple. What you do is this. Don't use the Rising Rush. Even though you may be tempted to do it, don't do it. If they have a Revival character, try to take out the first bar as fast as you can. Once again, I'm not saying go balls to the wall with this. I'm saying be smart about each play, because if you're not smart about your play, you will run into the obvious problem of, I messed myself up. You will consistently say that to yourself and you will know it's your fault. Now, another thing that is a issue is long games. You will have a long game that somehow makes it to the very end. If you have a game, I don't really know of too many of them, but if you have a game that somehow makes it to the last final seconds, it goes down to how many characters are left, and if you have the same amount of characters that are left, you guys know who has the most health. That's where slow chipping their health away comes into play, which, once again, that's more of a dispo type thing that I would tell you to do. Also, if you run a Zenkai team, basically you have the advantage. You just gotta play it correctly, because some people will have perfect counters for you, because you will eventually go against a whale, or you're gonna go against a person that is inexperienced and not ready for you. You don't in particular know until like the fight's pretty much either halfway done or finished. Some people can find out at the very beginning by the star count of the characters that they brought. You may have a character that didn't even make 4 stars yet. But hey, that's just what I have to say for that in particular. If I'm thinking anything else. Oh yeah, if someone does use their ultimate card and you can counter with your ultimate, do that. If someone uses a Rising Rush and you don't have anything else, counter with your Rising Rush. Cover change, it does not help for that. Certain characters do cover change that you probably don't know. So what I suggest, if you don't know what characters cover change, one, either since you're already on the app, if you're watching this video, look it up, or just play around with a bunch of characters with a friend of yours. If you don't have any friends or anyone like that, I suggest you go on and what am I looking for? You once again, like I say, play casual, and you basically just play with pretty much every character you have until you find, a team for you. And there's also another thing. If you don't know what team is your favorite team to use, play with a lot of teams. See which team makes you feel more comfortable. Do you feel more comfortable playing with a Zenkai? Do you feel more comfortable playing with a Saiyan team? Do you feel more comfortable playing with Otherworld team? Girls, I can't hate the term girls. I love when there's female warriors. Fusion, Otherworld, whatever else, God Key, any of those, that's a thing. But besides that, that's all we have to say for the moment. I will give you more updates when I need to, or whenever it comes to it. But until then, please, I hope this was somewhat enjoyable, and hopefully it can help you all crush it out there. If you do see me either as the Prince or King Cosmo or Mute, I'm ready. Thank you all. If you do have them, if you do and you beat me or you don't beat me, I would suggest that Vegeta taunt. Thank you.